Welcome, this is Kwinamasco Ben, a University of Kisubi student taking you through Ben biology, and we are going to talk about the heart and the circulatory system. And that we are much interested in the circulatory system, and that shall be the subtopic of today. The circulatory system is made up of various organs, as you can see. Number one is the heart, located there. Then number two, we have blood vessels, these ones which you are seeing in red and blue. Then number three, we have blood, which moves within those very blood vessels. The blood's transport system is called the circulatory system because materials move rotating throughout the body. We have, as materials move, we have some materials delivering to the cells and then others are picked. An example, you have oxygen gas, which is delivered to the body cell, and then carbon dioxide is picked from the body cells, goes to the lungs where it is breathed out. The circulatory system carries two types of blood. We have oxygen-rich blood, you can call it oxygenated blood, and then the oxygenated blood or oxygen-poor blood. What's the difference between these bloods? Is that the oxygen-rich blood is always moving to the body cells from the heart, and again we have that it has a high content of oxygen, but again a low carbon dioxide content. On the other hand, oxygen-poor blood is moving always from the body cells to the heart and to the lungs. Then it has very low oxygen content, but with high carbon dioxide content. The arrangement of the circulatory system means that these two types of blood do not mix. The reason is that if they mix automatically, then you would have this oxygen content and carbon dioxide content also coming to an average concentration. But how is it done that they don't mix this with the heart? And then within the heart, as you can see, this part is having oxygen-rich blood or oxygenated blood. This part is having oxygen-poor blood or deoxygenated blood. The inside of the heart is divided into two sections so that the two types of blood are kept apart. And this part here is the one which divides the sections. It is called a septa, to keep oxygenated blood from deoxygenated blood. Remember, this part here is called the right side of the heart because this person is facing here. Then this is called the left side of the heart. The upper parts of the heart, this part, the upper parts are called atria. But when it is one, we say atrium. The lower parts, we call them ventricles. When it is one, it is a ventricle. So we have this is the right atrium, this is the right ventricle, this is the left atrium, and this is the left ventricle. The left side of the heart pumps oxygenated blood to the body cells, and then this oxygenated blood changes to deoxygenated blood as it loses its oxygen and picks carbon dioxide. Then the oxygenated blood moves to the heart from the body cells. On reaching there, again it must be pumped to the lungs such that it is able to pick more oxygen. On picking more oxygen, it comes back to the heart. So on coming back to the heart, then we can say that it is now an oxygenated blood. When you see through this diagram, you are going to realize that blood moves to the body cells back to the heart, and then from the heart to the lungs back to the heart. From the same point, to reach the same point, blood has moved to the heart 2 times. That's why we call it a double saturation system, because blood will enter the heart twice before it completes a complete cycle. Thank you very much.
The heart is a muscle about the size of your fist. It lies behind and to the left of your breastbone or sternum. The purpose of the heart is to pump blood through blood vessels, arteries, and veins to all parts of your body. The inside of the heart is divided into 4 chambers. The top 2 chambers are called the atria and are collection chambers for blood. The bottom 2 chambers are called the ventricles and receive the blood from the atria and pump it to the lungs and the body. The chambers are separated by valves, which control the direction of blood flow. There are 4 valves: tricuspid, pulmonic, mitral, and aortic. Circulation begins at the right side of the heart, where blood from the body comes to the right atrium. This blood passes to the right ventricle, where it is pumped to the lungs to receive oxygen. Once it receives oxygen, it flows to the left atrium and then to the left.
Which organs are involved in the body transport system? Number 1 is the heart, which works as a pressure pump or engine to move materials around the body. Number 2, we have the blood vessels, which work as roads or channels of transport around the body. Then we have blood, which serves as the medium of transport in which materials are moved to and from the various body parts. Then what name is given to the system that moves materials around the body? It is called the circulatory system. It is the one which moves materials and blood throughout the body parts. Then we have dash is taken to the body cells and dash is picked from body cells to lungs. By mentioning the lungs, they are referring to the gases. So oxygen is taken to the body cells and carbon dioxide is picked from body cells to lungs, where it is breathed out. You are requested to write these questions and answer them in your notebooks. Why is the heart divided into 2 major sections? Why the mammalian circulatory system is called a double circulatory system? Name the heart chambers. After watching the working of the heart, state how the heart avoids backflow of blood.